Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $10,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds. Now, first thing I recommend you do is go to our website at funeralfunds.com. And on just about every page on our website, we have these free quoters. And all you need to do is just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount. Put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you the best insurance companies that have the lowest pricing based off your age, gender, and the state that you live in. Now, one of the first conversations we always have with the 79-year-old female looking for $10,000 worth of insurance is that $10,000 going to be appropriate for your final expense needs? Now, final expense typically would be cremation or burial. So let's talk about the cremation. There's two options for the cremation. The first option is where you get cremated and you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn. That's going to cost somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 on average right now. And the second option is if you get cremated and there's going to be some sort of a ceremony, like a celebration of life or remembrance ceremony, something like that. That's typically going to be between $3,500 to $4,500, depending on what part of the country you live in. So as far as coverage, two different coverage amounts as well, based off the option. Option one, where you get cremated and come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we would typically end up helping people, and what most people request is around $5,000 to $7,000 worth of coverage. Now, you might be going, well, hold on, Randy, you said cremation's $2,000 and now we're talking $5,000 insurance. What's going on there? Well, what's going on is we know that, prices go up over time. And if our 79-year-old female makes it to age 89, we know things are going to be more expensive in the future. So what we actually do is just build in some extra coverage to allow for inflation. And we get the coverage right now and we lock into the youngest age, which is age 79 right now. So we get the best deal. And what that does is it inflation proofs the plan so that, when you do die in the future, your family's not going to need to come up with any extra money. And then in the short term, if you died sooner than anybody thought, there's some extra money in there to help pay for some additional expenses, maybe credit card debt or medical bills or something like that, that if you'd lived long enough, if you'd been given that gift of time, you would have been able to pay that off. So it really works wonderfully. It protects both long-term and short-term. Now, for that second cremation option where there's the ceremony, most people would get probably between $7,000 to $10,000, somewhere in there. And again, it's the same concept, inflation proofing the plan in the long term. There's some extra money short term just to take care of some miscellaneous expenses. Now, for that burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. So it's hard to imagine that you wouldn't be able to walk into pretty much any funeral home with a $10,000 check and get it done. But if they said no, you just walk out the front door and walk 2 blocks down the road to one of their competitors and should be able to get it done. Just keep in mind, though, that $10,000 right now, that's not going to be a fancy funeral. They should be able to get it done, but it's not going to be fancy. And it's not inflation proofed at all. So, if you're on a fixed or limited income and that's all you can afford, definitely get that because that takes care of the most immediate needs. But yeah, if you're wanting to inflation proof that plan, you'll need more coverage. But if all you can do is the $10,000, we can always help you add more coverage later too. Just keep that in mind. But most 79-year-old females, we would be helping them get between $10,000 to $15,000 worth of insurance. Now, if there were really kind of extravagant funeral plans or some kind of unique things like maybe the body needed to be transported out of state or something, you might need $20,000. But we encourage you people not to overinsure. Don't get more of this insurance than you actually need. Now, occasionally we'll have a 79-year-old female say, hey, I want to take care of my funeral expenses for sure, but, I'd like to leave some extra money behind for the kids. So they might say, well, what's $30,000, $40,000, $50,000? And we run the rates for them, and it's too expensive just because their age. They waited until age 79. Don't blame the insurance company when you wait to age 79 years old, right? And so sometimes our 79-year-old female will go, wow, you know what? If I can't do everything, I'm not going to do anything at all. And we just have a conversation with them and say, hey, when you came in, you wanted to take care of the final expenses because we know you're going to die. There's no way out of that. You are going to die. And, I know you want to leave money behind for the kids, but you waited until age 79 to do that. maybe age 69 or 59 would have been more appropriate, or, So it's not the insurance company's fault. It's you waited till age 79. So what we always do is recommend, let's get the final expense insurance in place. And then at some point in the future, if you want, we can always follow up and do the children's policy. And most of the time, everybody's just like, that's terrific. Now, if money's not an issue, of course, we can do those both at the same time. But most of the people we help are on Social Security or disability. So we're very aware of their budgets, and we're very respectful of how they spend their money. So one thing we always recommend getting is first day coverage or benefits. We do not recommend those plans with 2-year waiting periods. We'll talk about those in a moment. But what first day coverage means is it means that hypothetically, if your plan were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write out that check for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever it is. It's going to be the best coverage at the lowest pricing. Now, some people will say, well, you're right, Randy, I do like the first day coverage, but I hear they ask health questions, and I'm not in the best of health. I'm worried I may not qualify. To which we always say, hey, that's our problem, not your problem. And what we mean by that is just from an insurance standpoint, we work with so many different insurance companies. They all ask different health questions. They all have different underwriting. And right now, 90 to 95% of the people we're getting approved are going to have first day coverage or benefits. Now, really, the only reason you wouldn't qualify for that is if you just waited too long and you had some significant medical issues going on, like maybe you had a terminal illness and you're going to pass away in the next 12 months. Maybe you had dementia, or you're on dialysis, or in a hospital, or in a nursing home. If that were the case, we'd typically refer you to a different insurance company. Something that also seems to happen on a weekly basis is somebody will call us up and say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week. They didn't have insurance. We don't have any money. Their body's down at the funeral home, and the funeral home director's not going to do anything until we get a check in his hand. So we need to get this insurance really quick so we can get that money so that we can pay the funeral home director. We have to let them know that there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to approve a policy on a dead person. You have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. And it's unfortunate that they lost a family member. It's also doubly unfortunate that their family member didn't care enough about them to take care of this in advance. They knew they were going to die. They probably looked at this insurance in the past and just put it off. And then one day they just went and died. Now their family members are going to have to pay for this. And they're probably going to have to put it on a credit card. They're probably going to have to pay 26% interest, and it's going to take them years and years to pay this off. What a terrible legacy to leave behind. You could have done everything else right in life, and you messed this one thing up, and that's how you're going to be remembered. So don't be that person. This insurance is affordable. We can always help you start out small. We can always help you add coverage later. Just get something in place so that you're not just passing this burden on to people whose it's not their responsibility to pay. So let's take a look at, one thing we don't recommend, as I mentioned earlier, is those 2-year waiting period plans. Colonial Penn, most people recognize the name anyway. Seems like they advertise all the time on TV. I think their $9.95 commercials are on every 7 minutes. But yeah, you may not know this, but that $9.95 plan from Colonial Penn, that's a 2-year waiting period plan. Ouch. Ouch, you probably didn't know that. Yeah, you should 100% never buy a 2-year waiting period plan if you qualify for first day coverage. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, Colonial Penn's not the only 2-year waiting period plan. There's other companies out there. Mutual of Omaha, they're United of Omaha, AIG, Gerber. Just there's loads of other companies. That's all they offer. And some of these companies have done just an amazing job of convincing the American public that if you're over age 50, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period, to which we always say, don't fall for such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our female, age 79, probably just got done watching one of those Colonial Penn commercials, and she's probably thinking, oh my gosh, that's just a beautiful commercial. I should be able to get lots of insurance, She's probably thinking she outsmarted him by waiting till age 79, probably thinking, you know what, for $9.95, I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 worth of life insurance. And then she calls Colonial Penn and talks with one of the agents, or goes online and checks the pricing on their website like we're doing for you. here and sees that a female age 79, 1 unit of coverage, which is $9.95, that's only going to pay out $627. Now, that's not even enough to cover a cremation anywhere in the United States that we know of. So why would you ever get a plan that you're just shopping based off price only that's not even going to do what you want it to do? It makes no sense. Now, there's some people out there that would say that, companies out there, they offer these really low rates. They're called teaser rates. They're meant to kind of tease you to get your personal information so they can get you into their marketing funnel. And then eventually they get you on the phone and some would say they don't even want to sell you this lowest price teaser rate plan with such minimal coverage. They don't want to do that because it's not as profitable. So what they'll do is they say, hey, for X amount of money, you can get this small amount of coverage, but we don't recommend that. You're going to need more than that. That's not enough. Let's get more insurance that will actually cover your needs. So they'll upsell you into a plan that's much more profitable for them. In Colonial Penn's situation, it's still going to have a 2-year waiting period, so you don't even want that. But yeah, so we're not saying Colonial Penn would ever engage in business practices like that, but there's some people out there that are fairly convinced that companies do that out there. So you can make your own decision based on the fact that $9.95 is only going to get you $627. Yikes. So this video is for 10,000. We got to find out what 10,000 is. So we got to play around. We got to find out how many units. We know 10 units is probably going to be around 6,270. So we're probably going to have to go 12, 13, 14 units. I don't know. Let's guess. Oh, are we going to max this thing out? 14 units? Oh, we're going to max this out. Colonial Penn only goes up to $15,000. That's all you're going to get. And you can't even get $10,000. You're going to end up with $9,405. That's what people find so frustrating about Colonial Penn is pretty much every other insurance company, you can get $10,000 on the nose, but they sell it by unit. That's the only way they can make that $995 claim, which we know is like minuscule coverage. So let's run with it here. $9,405. That's going to be roughly $150. Let's do this. Let's see what first day coverage would actually price out at. So $10,000, female, age 79 right here. We click Get Quote. Let's go back and look at this. This is not even 10. It's 94 for 150. And here we go. We can get that for roughly 92, 93, somewhere in there. So but this is for 10,000, not 9,400. So typically what we're seeing with Colonial Penn in many cases, they're up to 200% higher than first day coverage. It can vary based off age. But tell me, what would you rather have? Would you rather have $10,000 for 92 with first day coverage? This preferred means with this plan is first day coverage. Level with all plans means first day coverage. So would you rather have $10,000 of first day coverage for 92, or would you rather have $9,405 for $150 and get socked with the 2-year waiting period? Yeah, it makes no sense to overpay for this insurance. So it's $149 versus 92. That is just roughly $60. It's 58. Let's 58-ish. Let's do the math on that. The Colonial Penn is going to be roughly $92 more a month, and you're going to get less insurance. $92 a month times 12 months, that's going to be roughly $1,104 a year. You'll be overpaying if you go with Colonial Penn. And if our 79-year-old female lives to age 89, 10 years, you will have roughly overpaid right around $11,040, I think it is. So think about that. Think about that. If man, 11, you got to do the math on this, folks. If you go with Colonial Penn versus a first day insurance company, after 10 years, you have overpaid $11,040 roughly on a $10,000 plan. It literally wouldn't hardly make sense at that point. But if you get first day coverage and you get the lower rates, yeah, now it starts to make sense because you're not paying so much. So you need to be an educated consumer, an educated shopper. And, all of these companies may be fine companies. It just depends on your health and kind of the state, because not all plans are offered in all states. So we can help you understand what you're going to qualify for. But you do need to be a smart consumer and understand that you should not accept a 2-year waiting period plan if you qualify for first aid coverage. Let's look at some of these other companies. So you'll be able to see all the different companies. So here, well, like this one here, Lumico, they're about $40 more. It's the same coverage, same plan, everything, level coverage, but they're $40 more. Let's do the math on that. That's $40 a month times 12 months. That's $480 after 10 years. 79-year-old female up to age 89. That would be, you'd be overpaying roughly around $4,800 more. Why would you ever do that? Would you, if you had $4,800 in your wallet and you were walking on the sidewalk, would you ever just pull out your wallet and throw that money on the sidewalk and keep walking and let people pick it up? No. You wouldn't do the same thing with an insurance company either. You wouldn't just unnecessarily give them your money. And what would you rather have? Get lower pricing and then keep that extra $4,800 roughly in your bank account? Yeah, of course that's what you'd want to do. Don't overpay insurance companies. We can help you out with that. And Heritage right here, they're about the same price, so they're probably going to be about $5,000 more after 10 years, just roughly, give or take. But why are they so expensive? Well, Lincoln Heritage has a deal where when you pass away, they will supposedly call 2 or 3 different funeral homes to get the lowest pricing, maybe do a couple other things, but they charge extra for that. They don't do that for free. Yeah. So you're going to ask yourself, is it worth overpaying a company like Lincoln Heritage, around $5,000 roughly, to make 2 or 3 phone calls to a funeral home, maybe do a couple other things that only take an hour or so to do? I mean, we recommend you keep that money in your own bank account. Don't transfer that wealth of yours over to an insurance company unnecessarily. What we recommend you do is let us help you get qualified at the lowest pricing here. And then what we offer, actually free of charge, by the way, is a free funeral and estate planning guide. You can download that off our website. Once it's downloaded, print it out. Once it's printed out, fill it out. Write down who gets what goes where, and what you want done after you're gone. And then keep that with your insurance policy. And that way, when you pass away, everything's in one place, and your family members will know that you loved and protected them financially with the insurance policy, but you also loved and protected them emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. And all they'll need to do is open that funeral and estate planning guide, and they'll have to just start reading it, and then they just execute your wishes. They'll just do everything that you said, and you provided the money to do that with the insurance policy. And they'll know that you not only loved and protected them in life, but you loved and protected them that one last time in death, exactly when they would need it the most, when you're not around, but when they would need you the most. And you took care of this in advance. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. If you want to leave a legacy like that behind, visit us at Funeral Funds of America. We've got a special quarter for our YouTube visitors, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. You can get the lowest rates and the best companies and price shop all the different companies out there. And then give us a call at 888-862-9456, and we can help you understand what you qualify for. But if you have an existing policy and you want to price shop it to make sure you got the best deal, or you want to add coverage to that, we can help you out with that. If you're looking for brand new coverage or have any questions about what might be most appropriate for you or pricing, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to helping you get the most amount of coverage for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with that when that day comes. Until that day does come, you stay safe, you take care. You have a nice day. Bye-bye.